Most people go through life having negative interaction after negative interaction. And the worst part is, most of them don't even realize that the interactions are negative. In fact, a lot of people think that they're building rapport and are becoming likable people and building solid relationships, when in actuality, the person listening is really despising you. Even the smartest people that I know fall for these traps, and it's tough to watch. Now, I don't want to come across as arrogant, and I want to make it known that a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about, I was actually doing myself. And that's partly what's led me to realize that I need to change things. And I've been trying my best, and I've been on this journey to improve myself so that I can become a more likable person. And it's a steady process, but I'm committed to it. So I don't want it to come across as though I have it all figured out and I'm very cynical and everyone else has it wrong. I really don't want it to be like that, because that's not the case. Now, I think the first thing to address is the sense of arrogance. So many people have this deep-rooted sense of arrogance. And I think the things to realize is that, first of all, people are much smarter than you think. And second of all, nobody actually cares that much about you. I know those are both tough things to swallow, and perhaps they seem like they could be untrue. How could I say no one cares about you? But in reality, when you going out there and you sharing all your accomplishments, most of the time the person on the other side is just waiting for their turn to speak, waiting to be acknowledged themselves, and really have no interest in what you've accomplished. And yes, your mother, your parents, your family, your siblings, all your close people around you want to care for you, and they care about these things that happen in your life, and those are the people you can be sharing these accomplishments with. But in most instances, the people that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis have zero interest in our personal lives, and sharing it often just pisses them off, to be quite frank. Now, another thing is, I said people are smarter than we think, and it really is true. We go around having these fake interactions, small talk, trying to build rapport in the simplest of ways. And a lot of the time, when we do that, it comes across as fake, because it really is fake. When you go out there, corporate function, whatever function, and you're trying to put on a big smile and be over energetic, and it just like shines through, and people really know when what you're saying is fake and what you're saying is coming from your trueness, your sense of authenticity, your sense of self. They can tell the difference. Now, I'm not saying that small talk and rapport building should be avoided. You can't just jump in there straight into the deep stuff with people, of course not. And rapport building is important, and small talk is important, but do it from a place of genuine curiosity and genuine care for this other person that you're speaking to. Nobody cares about this small fake talk, and oftentimes it's actually a burden. So another thing is, stop trying to be impressive and make other people impressed by you, and rather be the person who is impressed by this other person. Take a genuine curiosity in them, and if they're sharing their accomplishments with you, even though you know this is not the sociable thing to do, still take an interest in it. Be curious about them. So I think this all leads to really the main thing that we're dealing with here, and that's trying to express the truest sense of authenticity in our interactions with everyone else. So whenever you're about to say something or act in a certain way, you should be asking yourself, is this rooted or coming from a virtuous place? And if it's not, don't do it. If it is, by all means, say whatever you want. So I think this might be confusing. Now, I've used the example of sharing your accomplishments, and yes, it's fine to share your accomplishments, but in certain circumstances and depending on what your motive is when you're sharing that. If your motive is anything to do with self-aggrandizing or putting yourself on a pedestal, trying to impress someone else, it should be avoided. That's a bad ulterior motive. But if it is to inspire, or because you're in a job interview and you want to prove that you're the right person for the team, or you're trying to share something with somebody who truly cares about you, then that's fine. You can share these accomplishments. But it all comes from your true sense of authenticity and coming from a place that is virtuous. If you can come from a place that's virtuous in everything that you do and say, a truthful place, then your interactions will be positive and people will like you. But if you are coming from these ulterior motive driven places, a sense of arrogance, trying to promote yourself relatively to other people, then you're forever going to be an unlikable person. And that's essentially what we're trying to avoid here. So you might have two instances where, one, you're sharing your accomplishments, but it comes from a good place. And two, you're sharing your accomplishments and it comes from a negative place. And both of these things can be expressed in very similar ways. But the motive that's driving that expression is, I don't want to say it's blatantly obvious, but it is more obvious than you think. And the person on the other side, more often than not, realizes what you're trying to do. So make sure that you're coming from a place of authenticity and trying to be a virtuous individual, and then your interactions will start to become more positive and people will start to like you. And then you're sharing for the sake of sharing, not sharing for the sake of trying to impress someone. Yeah, just let me know what you think about this. I know I've gone on a bit of a rant and maybe a little bit too expressive with this, but let me know what you think. I think this is something that, when I found out, it was really ground shattering for me, because these were things that I was doing wrong for so long. So yeah, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.